Welcome everybody back to Actung Cthulhu. We are in Shadows of Atlantis, the Vienna mission. This is session. God, what are we up to? Is this session six? Um, or is
Yep,
this session?
session
Yeah,
six.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This one has this one's gone a lot longer than I expected. but I actually applaud you guys for that because it's real easy as players to just ride the rails of where the adventure takes you. But you guys are always doing something a little different, kind of keeping me on my toes. The amount of the amount of making shit up on the fly I have to do with you guys
No,
is
no, 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 no. That's called improvisation.
yeah, no doubt. So let's see what happened last week. Last week, you guys decided to split the party, which always works out. The you guys went to the Sphinx Reading Club. You right as Fuchs was coming out, and Henry and Slim decided to follow Fuchs. They caught up to him. Uh, in a back alley. He was going in the back door of what was a print shop, um, and what was it? Four guys, right? Came out of there. Yeah, four guys came
Yeah,
out.
four guys came
Yeah,
out. Yep.
and the two of you, kind of just let them go on by. You don't know for a fact where they're headed, except they are headed back the direction you came from. Uh, Meanwhile, you decided to check the print shop. The front door was closed, so you picked the lock to the back door and went inside. Had an epically failed stealth roll, and as you looked through a doorway into the next room, Fuchs spotted you, and you guys got into a fight with a couple of thugs. Uh, the Fuchs ran away, and you guys dispatched these two guys in epic fashion. Henry blasted one away right away. The other one stabbed Slim a couple times, but no real damage, just a flesh wound or two.
What can you do?
Tis but a scratch. And then Slim blew his brains out.
And
uh,
got everything all over Slim's nice suit.
that's right. And in so doing, you broke your 45 too, because you had a complication. You dropped it and the slide broke. Might be reparable. Don't
What
know. We haven't looked at it yet.
that was Baker, not Slim, I believe.
Nope.
No, that was Slim.
Really?
Slim.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
Yeah.
had that wrong. Okay.
Let's see. The print shop wasn't really much of interest in the print shop. There's a ton of Nazi propaganda pamphlets that have been printing up. You remember mention of this place on some of the paperwork that was in Fuchs' desk back at the reading at the Sphinx Reading Club. So they're this place is obviously involved in the just in the propaganda machine here in Vienna. So um, and I think we ended with you guys trying to clean up as best as you could,
Yeah,
and
we actually,
start heading
we
back.
actually, we actually exited and started beating feet.
Yep.
That's right.
Um, what I will before we cut over to Walter and Singh, Pilecki and Singh, who waited very patiently through the last hour of last week's game. Uh, I'll say this that the no one in Vienna, as you guys are leaving and are heading out, no one's really paying any particular attention to you. You expected maybe a crowd outside the print shop or something, because after all, you guys were firing guns inside. You know, a 45, and what's Henry got? A service revolver? Or has he got a
Correct.
45 as well? A service revolver. So,
Service revolver.
yeah, that number 238 and 45s are not exactly quiet guns. Um, maybe there was a truck out on the street blaring its horn during that fight, and no one really seemed to notice that was going on. So,
All right. So so we're humping it. Before you switch to the other guys, I'm going to ask Slim. Slim, I see you broke the slide in your weapon. Do you have any other armament?
Uh, just my swing cod. No, sir, Mister Baker. That man broke my gun.
Okay.
I mean, if we had brought the bag,
it's never gonna
you
let that
you
bag
want I
go.
should swing by the hotel
No,
room?
we don't have time for that. We need to get back in case our friends are being accosted by those four, uh, shall we say, gentlemen. So, um, all right. So if we get into a pinch, just remind me. I should probably loan you my service revolver because I do have a knife.
Well, I appreciate that, sir.
All right.
But I can handle myself. Hey, where did you learn to shoot like that, by the way?
It's a long story, but it comes up from time to time in my business.
Your business? Shit, you hiring?
Are you of German descent?
Well, my grandmother's a little German, my understanding.
She's small and German?
Uh, and he's like scratching his head. I don't catch your meaning, sir.
Never mind. Let's go. Let's hurry.
Sure thing.
Um, all right. So, at the Sphinx Reading Club, Singh and Pilecki, you guys head to the front door, and is this your? Oh, you were ushered in. That's right. You guys were ushered in, and that's when Henry and Slim headed off. You were waiting on. You guys were inside waiting for Seidler, for Herr Seidler, to come back and meet you.
Jim, what were we doing here again? We came with a false apology to
Yeah,
steal. What were we trying to steal or look at?
Well,
You were trying to remote view upstairs, I think.
yeah, we were trying to figure something out.
hold it. Let me help you from my notes and the discussion we had.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfect.
we 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 stupidly put the note back in Fuchs's book in his desk, and you could have possibly used a spell to get some view of who LM might be. So
That
you were going to
right.
try and
Right.
do that, and then the other thing was you were going to scope out if there was any possible way you could find a way upstairs or see the way upstairs because let's face it, that's some place we want to eventually go. Is get
Right.
upstairs, see what's going on up there.
Yeah,
So
you
those were your two missions.
the
That's right.
what was the verbiage that was used that the upstairs is closed right now due to some recent unpleasantness?
Yes, that was
Unpleasantness,
exactly it.
or wasn't there something to fire, or is that
No,
did
no,
I
no. It
make
was
that
just
up?
some. Yeah, it was just some unpleasantness, which is well,
Vague,
hint, hint, hint,
vague is vague.
nudge, nudge.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, you guys were hypothesizing that maybe there was a fire or something, so you were trying to do some what do you call them, observation rolls, basically
Right.
to see if you smelled anything, because if there was a recent fire there'd be some scent of it in the air, that type of thing, and you guys really couldn't figure anything out that way.
Right. Right. Okay. And did Con and I don't recall if we came up with a strategy once we arrived there. Do you remember anything of that, Sharif? I'm sorry. Like I said, I've been so distracted. I haven't had a chance to look at the notes, and it's been a it's been a thing.
I don't remember that you guys came up with a specific strategy.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
we
was
just
going to
had it
distract
over.
Seidler while you did your stuff. I think it was general idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the plan was. I do believe that was the plan, that you were going to engage Seidler and talk to him and hope that Pilecki could uh, slip away to look around.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Um, all right. So Seidler comes sidling down the hall. That was terrible. Sorry, I won't do that again. And he smiles at you as he comes down. It's maybe not quite as friendly a smile as it was before. Maybe has a hint of weariness to it. Uh, but he remains friendly, and he says, "My friend Mr. Singh, you're back again. Second time in one day."
Oh, yes, yes. I felt I had to come. I believe I owe you an apology, friend Seidler. And then I will proffer the what did we say, Campari Italian liquor that I
Oh, that's right.
he likes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, that's right. We picked up a bottle.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
afraid there was a lapse in decorum the last time I was here, and that's simply inexcusable. I'd like to make amends.
he
I
says,
believe
"Well,
this is your favorite.
this is a fine gift. Thank you very much, my friend. Uh, think nothing of it. It's not a problem. I really appreciate this. Is there any other assistance I can offer uh, in your investigations at this point?"
Um, can I perform a deception roll of persuasion to try to engage him in a lengthy conversation?
I gotcha. So, all right, yeah, we can do that. We'll call it willpower persuasion with deception.
Okay, so that's a will roll.
Yep,
Okay. Two dice, yes.
2 dice. Yes, difficulty 1. Oh, and your current status, so you guys know, is at 4 threat and 3 momentum.
Got it.
And can I ask, does that reset at the end of the scene, or
Stress is stress damage. Stress is basically just the hit points in the game.
right?
And they basically you take a particular just a rest time period, and you recover it as long as you don't have any injuries.
Okay,
Which that's the other advantage. Overnight sleep automatically clears all that up.
gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys literally just stood to the side and took a 15-minute breather, you would pick it all back up.
So one momentum for one die, right? That's how we've done it in the past.
Correct.
What does the group think? I think this might be important enough that I might want to borrow one of her, well, not borrow, use
Do
one
it.
of her dice. So, okay, so if there's no objections, I'll use one. So
Okay.
we get
No.
dice.
So yep, that gives you 3 dice.
Is it difficulty one?
Yeah,
Or-
difficulty 1.
Okay.
One success. Wow, it's a good thing you did that. You did generate a complication. You know what? I'm just gonna absorb that on my end because I burned a lot of threat last session, and I'd like to get my bank back up a little bit. Um, all right, so you you start to engage Seidler in this in-depth conversation. What's it about?
It's about Fuchs
Okay. All
and
right.
how he's wrapped up in this.
All right.
But I
So
won't press it too hard because I know Fuchs is a freaking spy, so I don't want to seem too obvious.
I got you. That's fine. And the way I see this in my head, you're kind of talking with him, and as you're talking, you're kind of idly walking off one direction. Pulling him away without him necessarily realizing you're pulling him away, if that makes sense. And as a side note, you get the note that he's not a big fan of Fuchs. Um, he came with a recommendation um, from someone in Berlin. He doesn't remember the name, but so and just with the connections involved indicated that he didn't really have much choice but to let Fuchs join. But he really doesn't like the man. He doesn't really consider Fuchs to be a true, occult academic. He's more of a he's more of a he's more of a dabbler and seems far more interested in what everybody else is up to rather than his own research.
I like that because that means my buddy is still my buddy and not a spy. I think that's good.
So, Walter, as hold on. Sorry, I had to suddenly press the button on my microphone. I felt a big sneeze come on,
You're all good.
and then I pressed the button, and of course it just went away. um, as Singh starts engaging Seidler in the conversation, he's pulling him off, to the side into one of the sitting rooms, which is empty. Uh, what are you up to? You're standing in. You're standing in the kind of the grand entrance hallway. There's the two staircases that wrap this hall. At the entrance is kind of circular, and there are these two staircases that wrap and go upstairs, and they're both blocked off by short barricades, just tables. And of course, the library was at the end of the hall, with Fuchs' desk was there.
Right. So I can't recall. Was the desk locked?
The desk was locked.
Shit. And who picked the lock?
That was Henry.
Oh fuck. Okay. Um, so we have that to contend with to get the note.
Now, on the other hand, keeping in mind with your remote viewing,
Oh, that's right. I can go through the right.
yeah, it's a preferred situation where you are touching the object, but there's a momentum spend, I believe, that you can use where you don't have to be touching it.
Yeah.
Um,
So one momentum, I can choose an object within medium range, so that would work.
oh yeah, yeah. You would just have to be really. You could probably do it from here. Medium range is medium range. Well, is one zone over. So I guess the way the zones work, once you made it into the library, you could do it from there. You wouldn't even have to be in the same room as the desk.
Right. It doesn't really describe what it looks like when I'm doing this. Is this more of just, the touching your temples and concentrating really hard? Like,
Yeah, pulling off a Professor X type thing.
yeah, so it's not, I don't have to do anything like too obvious, I guess, right?
Right.
So yeah, well, two outcomes of this will be then, if the note is still there, which I think it should be because I think we engaged Fuchs before he could get back to his desk, right? So it's
You
got to be
did.
there.
Now you did leave. You guys did leave the reading club, and Fuchs was still there for a while. So you don't know if he left it in his desk or not, obviously.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and perform that, but I'm going to move to an area where people won't necessarily, where it may look natural for me to be loitering. Let's put it that way. I don't know if there's a place like that outside of the library, or if I walk into the library,
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah. I
allowed to
don't.
be
I
in there.
don't think it's a problem. We're getting later in the afternoon, and the reading club is mostly empty at this point.
Yeah.
Most people have headed out, so I don't
Well,
foresee an issue with that.
yeah. So maybe I'll go, and if it's empty, maybe I'll grab something nondescript for reading that's not sensitive, and just sit down to be with that item, and I'll remote view into his desk, which
Okay.
might be across the room, right? So if I burn one momentum, and then I also get, let's see here, it says the duration is a number of rounds equal to the psychic's power. Where's that listed on here?
It is on the character sheet.
Right, I get that. I just don't know. Is
Hold
there a
on.
thing called psychic power? Or,
No, it's under the spell category. If you
uh,
look at the spell page of the character sheet, it's top right.
top right. Oh, so there it is, power. So I have a total of three.
Correct.
I'm not sure what that translates into in game time, but
It the duration is equal to, yeah. So it would last for 3 rounds,
Pretty much.
which is not very long. It's probably 30 seconds, but yeah, 10 seconds a round. So it's not very long, but it's enough time to get an idea. I guess is what I'm getting at.
Now I have to. How many momentum do we have?
You have two.
I hate to ruin this for myself, but uh, I think I have to spend three in order to ask questions about the object past.
Let's see here. Oh, you mean for your talent?
Hmm.
Yeah,
For remote viewing.
yeah. Oh wait, for 3 momentum, you may choose an object within reach and gain limited knowledge of that object's past. Oh yeah.
So we're kind of we're not. This isn't great.
No,
Um,
you're short of momentum.
Well,
um, Anybody in the room right now?
No,
Can I just check to see if the drawer is unlocked by chance, so I can
uh,
grab it?
it is locked
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Uh, um, the remote viewing, if you're in the same room and within reach of the object, you don't need to spend momentum to increase the range of the remote viewing. So even though you can't touch it, you're within reach of it. It's right there. I mean, if you're standing over the desk, it's right there.
Right. It's just that I'm not going to know anything about its past. I'll just be able to read it again. We already
Right,
know what it reads.
right. So
We already know it's.
you're
It doesn't
you
really
are
give us
momentum
anything.
short for that.
Does the desk look especially sturdy as far as the drawer? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it's very solid.
and I
Um,
don't think I have any ability to pick that lock because I don't have. Uh, okay.
you can always
um,
try.
How heavy
well,
is the desk? Maybe I could just carry it out the front door.
It's pretty big and heavy.
let me ask let me ask you guys a question. Um, who went off with who went with Seidler?
Sing.
They
Sing.
have
Uh, and what were you going to do with him?
He's
distract them. That's
yeah.
all he's doing.
But you were also going to look for ways we could get up to the second floor, right?
No, that's me.
Oh,
So,
that's you. Oh,
yeah.
while
So,
he's being distracted. I have to be
right.
honest. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to game the system by coming up. Maybe there's some observation or something you could do where an additional success would let you build
Yeah.
momentum.
Right. Yeah. Um,
Well, here's the other thing to it. Here's the other thing to it. The momentum spends on spells are mixed from the standpoint. Sometimes you have to do them ahead of time. Sometimes you have to do them after the fact. You can do them after the fact. In terms of remote viewing, if you wanted to increase the range of it, you obviously would have to spend that momentum ahead of time, right?
right.
But as far as the other question is concerned, the spending 3 momentum to get um, limited knowledge of its past, I don't really see that as being a problem doing that after the fact. So, if you made your roll and generated a momentum, which is not going to be easy because it's difficulty 2, you know,
Hmm.
I that would get you the momentum you need as well. But anyway,
Right. So let me ask one other question then. Um, this is a game mechanics question, so I'm trying to understand it. Each person has, are they called fortune points?
correct.
And a fortune point would let him do what?
Using a fortune point before you make the roll, okay, reduces the dice from 2 down to 1, okay, that you roll, but because it turns the other die into an automatic 1, okay,
Okay.
which an automatic 1 garners you 2 successes. The difficulty of your spell is 2. So if you were to spend a fortune point to do your remote viewing, your psychic power, you would automatically succeed because of the automatic 1 using the fortune point. Then your other die, if it generates a success, would gain you momentum.
Ugh, I feel like
So
I'm in Vegas.
okay,
That's brilliant, though. And now the rule that you're talking about, how momentum might be able to be used after the fact. I mean, is that your interpretation, or do they? I mean, is that like spelled out in
No,
the
that's
book,
my
or
interpretation.
okay?
Because momentum can be used at different times for different effects, not just in spells, but also in combat, for example. And there's times in combat where you're going to spend momentum before you make your roll, like if you want an extra die on your attack. But there's also
Right.
times in combat where you're going to spend momentum after you make the roll. You know, I hit my attack, I've got 2 momentum, I want to make him drop his gun, so I'm going to burn a momentum for that. But you're not going to burn the
Ah,
momentum to make him drop his gun till after you've made the attack roll because you don't even know if you hit him or not. You know, so
okay.
that's kind of my interpretation of that.
all right. And um, the other question is, I'm trying to remember because still learning this system. Is there a way he can get an extra die or a point of momentum by giving you threat?
There is. There absolutely is.
I love you guys. This is like okay.
Um,
This.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. There is. There is. There is. There is. Do 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 do. I believe, and I'm going to confirm this because we haven't done this yet. Actually, did I put it in? No, I didn't put it in there. Okay. I believe that you can give me. You can buy an extra D20 by giving me 2 points of threat. Oh, paying for momentum spends on threat. Okay. You can buy anything you can buy with momentum. You can buy with threat.
Really?
Yep. So if you wanted to do something that cost 3 momentum and you had none, you could give me 3 threat.
Oh, okay. Well, there's
But
a
we
couple
have two
different ways.
momentum.
You do have 2 momentum. Yes, 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 yes.
Now, do I have to do the like for this particular say I'm going to execute this. I'm going to go and I'm close to the table. Um say I spend 1 fortune to improve my odds and give me the automatic success.
Yep.
Uh now if that roll then gives me 1 momentum, then I won't have to use the threat, but can I activate the threat for the momentum after the fact? In other words, do I
Yes.
have to burn a threat? Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. Anytime you could spend momentum if you don't have momentum and you want to give threat instead, you can do that.
so I basically can do this then.
Yeah.
But it just
One way
depends
or
on
the
whether we
other, it's
have
just
to.
a question of whether or
Okay,
not you're going to
okay,
help me.
wow, okay. I didn't think we were going to be able to do this. All right.
No, that was a good
Man,
call
thanks,
on the
guys.
rules, Henry, because I'm sure I went over that way back in our original introduction, and
Yeah.
that was a good call remembering that because I had forgotten
Yeah.
Well,
it.
Yeah,
yeah, that
exceptional.
was a deep down rectal extraction.
Good job.
No,
Good job.
actually, you guys, it wasn't a perfect memory, but it was a little grasp at one. And Marty
Okay.
will tell you, my memory is one of my things.
All right. So how do I execute this
Good for
spell?
All
you,
right,
bro.
so
You mean you have a good memory? Because
Right.
it seems like you do.
so
Like
go to your
you
main
remember stuff
screen of
pretty
your
well.
character sheet and drop your
Right.
fortune by 1. So it should go
Okay.
down to 2 because everyone has 3 to
Yep.
start.
Got it.
All right, then go over to the spell page
Mm-hmm.
and there should be a D20 next to remote viewing.
Yep.
And I don't remember what it does when we click this. So just click it and tell us what the boxes say.
Yep. Input value.
Um,
So that's dice. Number of
Dice. Oh,
dice.
so 1 die because you're not
All right.
buying an extra die. You're just rolling the 1 die you have with the guaranteed 1. Correct?
Yeah, is that what fortune does when you burn one? It just
Yeah,
makes an automatic
it turns
success?
exactly. It turns a d20. It takes a d20 away from the roll, but puts an automatic 1 on it. So you'd get
Got
two
it, got it,
successes no matter what.
got it. Okay, so dice one,
Yep.
focus.
Focus is going to be. Well, this is an observation skill. Let me see. What are the observation? Do you have any observation focuses?
I probably do. Hold on, I'm looking. Observation, I have sight.
All right. Yeah, I'll give it to you because this is kind of an
Yeah,
occult thing.
yeah, sight. So remote seeing and sight. I guess that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So focus, yes,
Yep.
and apply focus. Difficulty.
Is going to
Zero.
be 2.
Okay.
Oh, two. Hold it. Oh,
What?
difficult. I don't. I'm confused now.
Why? The difficulty
Okay,
of his spell is 2.
2. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, so his
because
Right.
fortune
we're all
point gives
counting
him
on you.
2 successes, so he's going to succeed at the spell regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what happens. Come on, momentum.
Yeah, look at that. Dice
Yeah.
rolled 1, and you had a success on that die. With the 2 from the fortune point, you're at 3. That gets you the 3 momentum that you need total.
Wait. How do I get a momentum for
Ignore
that?
the
Okay.
thing that says failure, because you
Okay.
rolled 1 die and you had
Uh-huh.
1 success. The roll 20 thinks you failed because the difficulty of the spell is 2.
Ah, I see. I see.
So,
Okay. And so
but
that I would have gotten a momentum then, right?
correct. So you are at 3 momentum. So you put your hand on the desk and you're visualizing that note within the desk, that says, it's the note that said, our Viennese archaeologists cannot be trusted or something like that.
Right.
Loose ends must be left untied. Retrieve whatever you can find. It was signed LM.
Right.
Recovery of Blackstone and info on machine is paramount. Is that the one?
There was another note that said that.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right. No
Okay.
problem.
And so what information can I get from the before the note was written to the time it's being written and where it went after?
All right. So you've got 30 seconds of remote viewing here. Now we're going to get to your cost in a minute,
Hmm.
but the you get an image of a woman sitting at an ornate oak table. She's in dark stain. She's in a uh, she's in a room. No, it's more than a room. It's a hall. It almost looks like a castle hall. Like everything's made out of stone. And she crosses the room. She's tall. She's almost 6 foot. Um, Short, bobbed brown hair, dark brown hair, almost black. She sits at this table and she starts scratching out a note, and it is the note in the desk, obviously. Um, and she signs it LM. The She's wearing a uniform. It looks very much like a Nazi officer's uniform, but it's got a slightly different style, a slightly different cut to it, and it on the lapels it has patches on either lapel of the shirt that matches the emblem that you saw on some of the papers in Fuchs' desk. The paw print where the middle pad is shaped like a gear and there's an eye in the middle of it. Um, looking at the other items on her desk, you've got a name, and the name is Liesel Moorer.
Sell more.
Yeah. Liesel is spelled Liesel,
Mm-hmm.
and Moorer is obviously, or I guess it's really probably more pronounced Maurer, Maurer.
Mm-hmm. Did, um, is she wearing any distinctive jewelry?
No.
Are there any items on the desk that look distinctive where they might be, you
Uh,
know, unique or
that's a really interesting question. I'm going to say no. But there are large numbers of there are large numbers of correspondence back and forth all over the desk. And obviously too much for you to go through in this 30 seconds that you have
hmm
to look. Um,
any surnames that jump out?
yeah, there's one that comes up several times, uh, and it's Wolf. Wolff.
Written in a context of like Dear Mr. Wolf or just
It written in the context of. Let me get the exact title. I'm sorry. I should have had this prepared because I knew this was going to go this direction, and for some reason
it's okay.
it skipped
Still
my
catch it
mind.
up.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And I'm taking notes here. He's finding Wolf in the writings. Is that
Yeah, in the context of being a name,
okay?
and the where's the title? Where is the title? Ha! The one thing I'll say, this is, I hate to say this, but um, this RPG is so complex and so beautifully done. But some of the information you need in the other books kind of bounces around a little bit. It's not all in the intuitive place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually heard about that too. Somebody mentioned that in a
uh,
review.
General Oberst Wolf.
General Oberth
Oberst.
Wolf.
Yeah, all one
Oberst.
word. General
Oberst.
Oberst is all one word.
Oh,
It's a
so
German
part of it
rank.
is German rank Oberst. General. Yeah, okay, Oberst.
Yeah.
So that's what that's is that a I
Roughly
think there's one
translates
star.
to Supreme Commander.
Yeah. Oh, so okay. So probably in charge of the whole division. Okay. I am I running out of time here?
Yeah, I think at this point your vision is starting to fade.
Is there anything on the walls? Can I tell the time of day? Is there vegetation outside? Anything distinctive?
It's nighttime. And make a an observation roll. It's going to be shit. Give me one second. I need to pull up a character sheet and make a decision on this. And we'll just call it a. You know what? I'm going to give you an option here. You tell
hmm
me what you want to do. You can do insight observation
hmm
with sight, or I'll actually let you do reason academia with a history focus. I don't know if you have either of those. Well, I know you've got a sight focus.
I got sight, but I don't have history. I have occultism. So it would.
Where's your better role? Reason with academia or insight with observation?
I've got a rating of 10 for reason and 9 for insight. I don't know if I can do the math in my head, but I do have, a observation of 2 with sight, so that gives me a total of.
So all right. So
Is it?
the chance the success chance is the same either way. Just if you go with the
hmm
observation because of your sight focus, you got a better chance at generating more momentum.
Yeah, let me do that one.
Okay.
I'll do, so it's insight.
Yeah.
Insight observation. Yep. Difficulty 1,
Uh,
sight focus.
oh, difficulty one. Okay. So dice one? No,
Uh,
dice
no,
two.
2 dice. Yep.
And we do observation and focus, yes. And difficulty one, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, one momentum. Nice.
Oh, success with 1 momentum. Very good. Very good. Um, there's a crest on the wall. It's nighttime and there's not a lot you can tell outside just in the room itself. But there is a family crest on the wall, and something about that crest jogs your memory as your vision fades. It's a family coat of arms. Um, and you think it has something to do with just from your basic memory, your basic knowledge, it has something to do with a Germanic king um,
Mhm.
who defeated Rome back around in the first few years of the modern calendar.
I wish I knew my history better.
Well, that
Been a
one's
while.
probably a little obscure.
Okay.
Marty, can you repeat that bit?
Yeah, it was a crest or a coat of arms that is a some sort of callback to a Germanic king or noble that he seems to remember had something to do with him defeating Rome in a battle somewhere close to the beginning of the modern calendar. Somewhere in the first few years A.D., perhaps first century.
Wow.
Cool,
Okay.
thank you.
We've
Yeah,
gotten
that
so much information, Pilecki, that's uh,
it's good
clutch
being a
play.
nerd. Um, now, just does this? Let's see. It has a drain and persistent three. So
Ah,
what is that? No,
okay.
no, that's spontaneous combustion. I'm sorry. It has. I read the wrong one.
I mean, we can go that route if you
Yeah,
want, and you
no.
want to
The
spontaneously.
cost is the cost is two drain and piercing one.
Right, except, there is a note on the remote viewing spell
Okay.
that it says, unlike most spells or abilities, the cost of remote sensing increases by 1 die per momentum spent. So you did
Oh,
spend 3 momentum.
three.
So
Oh
your
boy.
actual cost is going to be 5.
So what does that mean? What does that do to me?
There's a should be a cost button on the spell page.
Still. Yeah, it says two
Oh, it just
here.
says 2. All right, so
Yeah.
there's no actual die roll. So roll just roll 5d6.
Um, 5d6. Where do I get that? Hold on. I'm just looking for the. Can I just roll spell check up at top, or how do I, or a skill check or damage dice? Where do I get
Oh,
the
you can
d6?
you can roll damage dice. Yeah, click the damage dice button. What does that do?
Okay. It gives me how many dice?
Okay, 5.
5.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So this is a dangerous one for you here, buddy.
Yeah.
You rolled 5 dice
Yeah.
and you had 5 stress damage. Now, this thing has drain and has piercing as its effects, and you rolled 3 effects. So
Right.
go back to your main character page. Tell me, do you
Uh-huh.
have any courage?
Oh, I got one.
You have 1. Well, with 3 effects, you get piercing 3, which means it goes through 3 points of courage. So your courage did nothing.
Okay.
You took 5 stress damage.
Oof.
Now,
Okay.
now because you took 5 stress damage, you also
Uh-huh.
took an injury.
Okay.
Um, and Because the spell has drain, you took 3 points of fatigue because of the three effects.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Where's so I
Fatigue
where
is
do
right above the stress track.
fatigue? Yeah. Okay. So
So pump that
fatigue.
up three.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And it brought me down to a total of 7.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So you now fortunately you already took five, so that's okay, but you don't want to take any more damage anytime in the near future. The problem is with 3 points of fatigue is that your dice rolls go up in difficulty because of the type of injury this is going to be.
Right.
Your anything mentally related is going to go up 3 points of difficulty on your die
Ugh.
rolls.
Okay.
Additionally, the fatigue, you lose 1 point of fatigue with one good night of sleep.
Mm,
So this is gonna slow you down for a little bit. Um,
yeah.
Now I do believe there is a. Give me 1 second. I do believe that there is a way to. Oh no, that's only for avoiding defeat. Okay, which you're not defeated because you only took one injury. So, put in your injuries.
Hmm.
Um, we're going to call it psychic burnout. So as your remote viewing came to a close, you could feel the burning going through your mind, going permeating your head and your psychic mantle, and it's just this horrific burning sensation, which leaves you once when your vision clouds up purple, and you feel like you're about to go out for a moment, and then once it clears, it's left you with just this horrific throbbing headache. You know you're going to pay for this for a while.
Sounds like a concert I went to in high school. Here, take this. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
So on your
uh,
main character page, there should be a series of boxes that says injuries. There's like three of them.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. A
So just
psychic
write
burnout.
psychic burnout in one of them.
Okay. What does this do to me, like physically? Can I still like ambulate decently, or do
Oh
I
yeah,
look like?
yeah. Physically speaking, there's no real effect.
Okay. All right. But if I have to make any kind of mental skill check, I'm not really going to be good at that. The
It's
physical
going to be
stuff, I'll
very
be
hard to
okay.
succeed.
All right. So since I've been only here for 30 seconds,
Yeah, I mean, all
but I got
total,
all this
walking in
info.
there and everything probably was a minute grand total, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try to take a deep breath and kind of shake off this feeling. But I do want to wander out and see if there's a way that I can get up those steps
Okay.
without being seen.
All right. Um,
Now I do have that one skill. I got pretty good stealth, and I do have, where's it at? Perfect timing, which you always get to where you need to be in the nick of time when you make a stealth test, and there's a limited amount of time to succeed, such as reaching a certain location before a guard turns around. Da 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 da. I get to the first bonus D20 you purchase costs 0. So I basically get to buy a D20 for if I need to get back downstairs or I need to get up there without being seen.
oh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I used that to get what's her name into the car. I
oh yeah, you
remember
did. You
the
did.
first
That's
day.
right.
Yeah.
That's see the talents in this game are so awesome.
Yeah.
They
I
they
know they're awesome.
they're not like these huge overpowered game changers, but they're so good for specific situations.
Hmm.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's obviously there's the club is emptying out. It's starting to close down, and the I the there's that receptionist at the front desk. She's involved in a couple of tasks, obviously getting herself to getting everything done, and so she's involved in whatever paperwork she's got to do, closing out daily logs or whatever. So if you want to make an attempt to sneak by her, that would be a very straightforward agility plus stealth. Um,
That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to make it difficulty two,
Okay.
just because it's a well lit room. Uh, you don't have urban stealth, do you?
I have camouflage.
Yeah, so that's not really a
No,
qualifier here. But
no.
you get to buy a bonus D20. That first D20 costs 0. So you get
Okay,
3
so
dice.
three
And
dice.
this is a physical roll, so your injury doesn't have anything to do with it. Neither does your fatigue.
Excellent. Okay, so three dice.
Yep.
Relevant skill is stealth,
Yep.
and I do not have a focus in that.
Yep.
Right? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, come on. Here we go. And difficulty one or two.
2. Oh
Oh,
wow! Look at that. With a momentum as
dude.
well. That's impressive. That's
Nice.
impressive. So yeah, you wait for the right moment. She leans down and opens up a bottom desk drawer, and she's looking for something in there, and you quickly and quietly hop over the barricade, which is, like I said, really nothing but a table set up across the entrance to the steps. You hover there for just a second, ducking down, making sure that she's still involved, and then you go popping up the steps like a ghost.
Man,
Um,
Yes.
you didn't even need Slim to do a dance.
No. Probably would have helped though.
You get up to the landing where the two steps, because there's two sets of steps on either side of the hall, and they kind of wrap
Right.
the outside of the hall, and they meet at a landing at the top. There's a large open, double doorway that's open there, and inside it's this entire upper floor is basically one room. Doesn't look like it was always one room. Yeah, there's load bearing members spaced throughout that were probably once part of walls. The place has been renovated, and it's been opened up into just one large room. There are windows. There's several skylights overhead. Um, the uh, the room is full of curio cabinets and display cases holding a number of different artifacts, different things, small sculptures, stones, gemstones. There's one of them's got a spider collection in it. Just a bunch
Hmm.
of dead spiders, from that look like they're marked from different parts of the world. Uh, there's so it's really just a question of what you want to look at up here, because it's like a small museum.
Anything that I can notice that has the same markings as what I saw on the insignias and the
No,
nothing.
and I don't think I need to do a I don't think I need to do a roll for this, because I'm a firm believer that anything that's just plainly obvious is plainly obvious, and people don't need to roll for that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I told you the room has skylights. It's got four huge glass skylights.
Hmm.
One of them, the glass is gone, and it's covered up by a polypropylene tarp.
Huh.
Um,
What's immediately below where the tarp is on the ceiling?
just an empty aisle. But nearby is a probably 6 foot tall curio cabinet, and glass on the bottom part has been broken out, or was busted. Was it's not there. You assume it was busted. It's just not there. And there is nothing in that part of the curio cabinet.
Any residue or anything in there?
Um, that's where you're getting into roll category.
Yeah.
And this would definitely be a mental roll.
Okay.
You're probably looking at. I'll let you go two ways with it, but I think you're probably going to go inside observation. Um, there's an argument to be made for reason academia with science, but
Hmm.
your call. I don't. And it would be sight would be the focus on observation. So I imagine you're probably going to go that way.
Yeah, yeah. So insight with sight.
Yep. And you have, because of your three fatigue, your difficulty is four.
Two dice, right?
Correct. Unless you
And roll.
wanted to spend a momentum to get a third one, but that's
That's okay.
yeah. I don't blame you.
Um, yeah, observation, the focus apply, yes. And you said difficulty four?
Yeah. It would be
Yeah,
difficulty one, but your three fatigue is
yeah, okay.
beating you up.
See what happens. Yeah, shit. Is that one success? Does that mean it's a failure?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you needed four successes to actually succeed. So, no, you don't see anything to indicate any sort of residue or what might have been here or what was once here and now isn't.
all
Yeah.
right. Is there anything I can see about the collection up here that oh hell, trying to phrase this so I don't have to roll. Um, I mean, I do have that academia and occultism. I mean, does any of that background give me like
I mean,
insight into the?
there's a lot of stuff here, stuff that you would probably generally recognize. There's artifacts from ancient civilizations. There's artifacts from Egypt. There's artifacts from the Middle East, even the Far East.
Yeah, but
There's
are they all are they all from human history? Is there anything from the mythos out
no
here?
everything here. It's there's definitely nothing of any true occult significance or power here.
Okay. Does anything look especially expensive?
Um, I guess it would be a question of expensive to who. Obviously things are worth
Sure.
more to some people
Anything,
than others.
right. I mean, but anything that's like made out of, solid gold, is
Oh no,
there,
nothing quite like
nothing like
that.
that?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
mostly
there's some things that
relics
have
and
some gemstones and stuff like that in it, but nothing that's
got it.
really yeah.
Uh-huh. Um, Let me wander over to where um, if there's a section that has mostly stuff from Egypt or the Middle East. I don't know if
Okay.
it's arranged that way. And is there anything there that might provide insight into the previous stuff we had talked about for what these guys are dabbling in? Or is it simply just what you would find in the field museum, I guess?
Yeah, it's really more museum type stuff. Probably your bet would be just based on the type of club this is, probably donated by members or that type of thing. Um, and you would imagine with what you know of the occult, anything with any real occult significance probably would stay. You doubt somebody would donate anything like that.
No, sure.
Yeah.
It's and I'm probably yeah, I'm way too spent to do any kind of remote viewing again, right?
Um,
It's like it would
yeah,
probably
I mean
kill me.
your difficulty would go up to five because the difficulty's two automatically, and then with your three fatigue, it would go up to five. So it would be you could try, but it'd be almost impossible. Difficulty five is considered like a legendary difficulty.
Yeah, right. The cabinet with the broken lower portion, what's in the upper portion?
The upper portion's got um, it's got it's got a card that says uh, lip plates from across Africa,
A what? A
and
lip plate?
yeah,
Oh,
and
so
there's
like for body modification?
yeah, there's like five or
Okay.
six of them in different sizes, made out of
And
different
so
things.
it's an open. I mean, it's a glass. I can see inside the
Yeah,
cabinet,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Is it against the wall?
Yes.
Um, is it like affixed to the wall, or is it
No,
something
no,
where
it's
I can see
freestanding.
behind freestanding?
Yeah, it's like a curio cabinet, so it's
Yeah.
pushed up
Okay.
against the wall, but it's not affixed to the wall.
Is there anything behind it?
No, just the wall.
Just the wall. Anything on top?
Dust maybe.
Yeah. Shit. Okay. I hope I'm not missing something obvious here that I'll be disappointed about later. Tarp up top, skylights, something went through the ceiling. There's nothing on the floor to indicate any kind of trauma to the structure, anything like that.
No,
Anything, are there like desks in here? Are there,
no, it's purely just all the display cases with different things.
so, yeah, okay. So kind of like, I don't know, I imagine like, Batman's armor room or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And, any other doorways leading outside in this one big room?
No, no, there's not. There's just windows and whatnot, but there's literally no other exits or entrances.
Uh, Let me go up to the windows on all sides and just get familiar with what's outside there.
Yeah, you're looking over the rear window. You're looking over a basically a backyard that has a stone wall wrapping it. You can kind of just barely see. It's a weird angle, but directly below, there's a veranda, probably where Slim was smoking his cigarette in the last session. Um, uh, Other than that,
So
not a
is
whole lot there.
is that a courtyard you can't observe from the street because it's got a
Correct.
wall? Okay,
Correct.
but Slim was out there already, right?
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Okay.
The on the sides of the building, the buildings on either side are. I mean, if you opened up the window and leaned out the window, you could touch the building next to it.
Oh, that close. Huh?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
that close. They're only a few feet away from each other. Like
Are they close enough?
if you were to slink between the buildings, you'd have to turn sideways.
Oh, I see. Are they? Um, Anybody got parkour skills in her? I am going to. Is the window locked or is it just a latch?
It's locked from the in. It's latched from the inside.
All right, I'm just going to unlatch it, not push it open, but unlatch it, and then sneak my way downstairs.
Okay. All right.
Good idea.
Hmm.
I'm going to just give you the getting down. Um, Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just going to give you the getting down part of it.
Okay.
Um, what Singh? We've kind of Sharif. We've kind of let Singh just hang out in the next room with Seidler for a few minutes.
That's fine.
Um,
No problem there.
did you have anything you wanted to talk to Seidler about it? About?
Um, I suppose, if I'm fishing, I guess it'll just be for extra details about Eichmann, what his habits were, where he might have gone.
Oh, Erlichman. The
Ehrlichman,
yeah
I'm
the
sorry.
no,
I'm
it's okay.
forever doing that.
That's fine. It's fine. We've got a lot of German names flying around here. Um, yeah, he doesn't really tell you much that you didn't already know. That here in the last few weeks he'd gotten very excitable about something that he believed was going to change everything we know about history of the ancient world, and that he had been speaking with. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna have you make a roll, if you would please make a will persuasion roll. Um, I don't know that. What focuses do you have in persuasion?
Persuasion, I have deceive.
Yeah, not really what we're looking for. So just make a will persuasion check. No focus, difficulty one. Oh, failure.
Couldn't
No,
couldn't pull it off.
no, that's unfortunate. Um, yeah. So he, like I said, he doesn't really tell you much of anything you didn't know. That Ehrlichman had been excited about some new vein of research he was on, but beyond that, he wasn't personally involved with it, and doesn't really know what Ehrlichman was on about.
Does he know the broad strokes? Like what culture was he like knee deep into?
He Ehrlichman had always been a student predominantly in Egyptian culture. That's one of he did his thesis on in that field and whatnot. But here in the last couple months, he had really shifted towards Aryan and Nordic research, which I think you guys mostly knew that already.
So that's probably too specific a question. But Aryan, as in Indo-European ethnic group, or Aryan as in the quest for the mythological origins of the Germanic people as seen from the perspective of the Third Reich?
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
He didn't really. He never really pegged Ehrlichman as a Nazi, though.
So it sounds like he discovered something that got the Nazis' attention, if not ire. Maybe I'm just making that up.
Well, as a player and as a character, you can come to whatever hypothetical conclusions you like. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot think.
Oh, I've been doing that from the start.
But Seidler certainly doesn't have any information where that's concerned. Nothing that he's aware of.
Gentlemen, I hate to interject here, but just from a chronological standpoint here, can Slim find a phone booth to try to phone the book club?
He can, but chronologically speaking, you guys are probably just now getting into the print shop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Do they have phone booths in
That
1939
totally,
Vienna?
totally don't know. But
I think the answer is yes, but
Yeah.
you go ahead. I'll do some research on the internet.
Yeah, do that for us, because I'm really not sure. I'm with you. I think the answer is yes. They may not be pervasive, but I'm sure they're there.
well, I hope there's an operator because I do not know the phone number of this place.
um,
Anyway, proceed.
no, that's fine. What do you think, Singh?
I'm sorry, was there something?
No, it's
I
just
had-
a question if you have anything else to say or do.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm buying time as long as possible until Mr. Pilecki comes around the corner.
Yeah. All right. Well, we
So
can
I'll
certainly,
change to personal matters, or I'll talk about his family, or
yeah,
his research and how can I help him, and whatever it takes.
the weather. Yeah. So we can we can jump ahead on that. You see Pilecki rather stealthily appear out of the entrance hall and into the sitting room you're in with Seidler, as if he'd been there the entire time. Um,
Well, in that case, my old friend, I think I've taken up enough of your time.
he so he like again the way I see it in my mind's eye, you guys when you'd moved into that sitting room, you probably sat down and were talking. He he stands up and he shakes your hand and as you know points to the alcohol and says, again, thank you so much for the gift. This was very considerate of you, and I wish you continued luck in your investigations, and be careful. It feels that there's a storm coming.
I'll take that to heart. Thank you, Herr Seidler. And if your travels ever bring you near the Kashmir Valley, I know you know where. I know where you know where to stay.
He oh shoot, or I accidentally clicked Outlook. He nods and says, thank you so much, my friend.
Oh,
And yeah,
bit of history.
okay.
The first telephone booth introduced into Europe was in January of 1881 in Berlin, Germany.
Oh wow, look at that.
1881.
That's cool.
Fernsprech kiosk, and it was on Potsdamer Platz. So if
Hmm.
that was 1881, I'd say by 1939 they were pervasive throughout
Yeah,
Europe.
they'd be pretty. I would think they'd
And
be
how
pretty
long did
everywhere.
it take for it to get graffitied and peed in? That's good. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, during Nazi
Go Slim.
occupation, I'd be surprised.
All right. Well, Walter is holding his head and uh, walks over to Khan and says, "I think we should take our leave. I have a splitting headache, and we can talk outside."
Of course. Sorry to hear it. Let's get a move on.
All right. All right, so you guys exit. You're leaving the Sphinx Book Club, heading out the front door. Um, yeah, yeah. So I guess you're out the front door on the front stoop. What, what's the plan, gentlemen?
I relate to him, just that I have important information to share with the group, and I need to write it down as soon as possible. But that took a lot out of me, and I need to go back to the safe house.
All right. I will sort of shepherd him, escort him back to the safe house, make sure he's good. I'll give him my little notebook and stubby pencil that I keep around for investigations so that he can begin brain dumping.
All right. Um, I think we can reunite the group.
Can we take a 5-minute bio break?
Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Couple minutes. I've returned. Perhaps I'm the only one.
I never left.
Oh, okay.
I'm I try very much not to uh metagame, and if I'm not if Henry's not in the scene, I try and keep Henry out of it. But I hope when it comes to game mechanics, it was okay if I brought up those questions about.
No, it's fine for a couple reasons. Number one, we're still learning the game. Number two, um, number two, some game masters and DMs get really upset when the party is split and someone who is not there is making suggestions or that type of thing. That doesn't bother me as much. Not when it's a suggestion about a mechanic thing. You
Right.
know,
I try to never make any suggestions about what they should do or anything like that.
yeah, no. I mean, if they're in a conversation with somebody, they're trying to get information out of them, and there's a question you think they should ask. Well, if your character's not there, obviously that's a different situation. But in the case
Right.
of especially in this case where we're still figuring out all the mechanics of a new system and what's able to be done when, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. Um,
Okay.
People need to, we're like I said, we're all learning a new system here, so that's all good. That's fine.
Okay. But certainly, I would never
Ah, man.
suggest um, any line of questioning or an activity or you should do this or that. I would never do that because I'm not there.
Right. Yeah. No, but
I'm
other.
very careful about that. But like you said, this was a game mechanic thing that I thought I remembered, and obviously, um, I don't know.
No, it
I
was a
could
good
look at it.
call.
I could look. We could look at it this way: if everyone was unsure of what the game mechanic was, they could say, "Okay, hold on a minute while I consult my manual," and we could all sit there and wait.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's boring.
Yeah. Clarifications of game mechanics are not an issue. That's because everyone, we all, like I said, we all need to know, especially me. you
Yeah.
know.
That is a handy spell to have, though.
Yeah, it hit him kind of hard.
But we learned so much. That was a huge,
Oh
huge
yeah.
play, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked that. It's not as exciting as spontaneous combustion, but it sure comes in handy. I really was torn. I was going to do spot because I read Firestarter, reread it not too long ago, and I'm like, I would love to be able to do that.
Can you learn new stuff, I imagine, over
I
time?
think you. I think.
Yeah, you can. You can. It's because of the type of spellcaster you are, because you're a psychic dabbler.
Mm,
It's dangerous for you because anytime you learn a new spell, you learn an imperfect form of it,
uh,
which is either harder to cast or has more side effects or doesn't work as well. And you can later perfect it so that you don't have those problems, but you got to be careful with it because magic, you as you see, magic is expensive to screw around with in this game as it is.
yeah.
And then having an imperfect version of a spell can really create some nasty situations for you.
Yeah, I remember that being a dabbler, you could pick either one spell you know very well, and I
Yep.
guess doesn't have anything, or you could have two that are imperfect, so
Yep.
they do things.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. When you create your character as a dabbler, you get the choice between between one unperfect spell or two imperfect. And
And do you have to like it's not is it experience? Yeah, it's called experience. You get experience points here. So do you spend those to
yeah,
do that kind of thing, or yeah.
correct. Everything in this game, advancement wise, is based on multiples of five. So
Okay.
everything you do with experience costs 5 points. Now, most things you just say, I want to spend 5 points and this is what I want to do, and that's that. When it comes to learning spells, there's a couple different mechanics at play there. You have to either, like for instance, in Sharif's case, Sharif is a traditional spellcaster. He has to have some sort of access to the spell or access to a mentor to teach it to him.
Uh-huh.
You, as a dabbler, don't really have that disadvantage, but your disadvantage is you're going to pay 5 experience points to potentially learn the spell, and then what you're learning is a flawed version. So,
Yeah.
whereas he spends 5 points and just gets the spell, his drawback is he has to have access to someone to teach it to him. You don't have to
Right.
do that, but you actually have to spend 10 points to get a perfected version.
Ugh.
Because you got to
And
spend
so,
5 to learn it, then you got to spend another 5 to perfect it.
oh boy. Okay. And then how do we earn experience
Oh,
points?
just at the end of the scenario, I'll pass them out.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
it's it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Alien, where it's at the end of the.
Yeah, game end. We go down a list of. Whoa, hold on. Sorry, I'm moving around, and my cord on my headset got caught on something. I almost yanked it right off my
So
head.
is it broken up when you say scenario? Are you talking about this what we used to call module,
Yes.
or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay? All right. So we have to finish this entire storyline then
Correct. Correct.
before we can advance. Okay.
Which yeah, and the game master's guide. I guess while we're talking about it, love the artwork in these books. It's so good. Modifius seems to have a hard time keeping a hold of their licenses, but when they produce something, they really do a great job.
Hmm.
It's beautiful stuff. So yeah, there's various awards, uh, for doing different things. Oh, look at you! You were seriously wounded. You're going to pick up 5 XP.
For being seriously wounded, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's a plus side to being wounded. Excellent.
Um.
Nice.
All right. Cool. Um. All right. We. Is everybody here?
Yes, I am present.
I'm present.
Sharif said he had a phone call. Um. Well, while we're talking about it, Slim, you'd made mention of finding a phone booth, and since we've come to the determination, historically speaking, that they'd be pretty commonly found at this point in history, yeah, I don't have a problem with you finding a phone booth.
Okay. So, well, here's my thought on that. I mean, you're wanting to get everybody back together. I mean, maybe we just hand wave it this time. I
We
was
can do
thinking that
that.
I could warn them, of who's approaching, but it just doesn't seem like narratively that would work out.
Yeah, we can do that. We can hand wave it. Uh, we'll make it magically come together just to keep things moving. Uh, they are heading Khan and sorry, Walter are heading away from the Sphinx Reading Club. They're probably coming out the front gate about the time Henry and Slim, I'm sorry, come around the corner. There was no sign of the 4 guys that left the print shop. Uh, Henry and Slim, you no sign of where they went to.
All right. Well, when we reconvene, Slim is going to, right off the bat, he's going to say, "Are y'all all right? We saw 4 men coming this way." Yes, we're fine. We haven't been accosted, but Walter is a bit um, under the weather.
Yeah, if we're back in a safe house, I'm just sitting on the bed, cradling my head, trying to write into the notebook as much as I can.
Well, if this is before the safe house, we're meeting up on the sidewalk. I
Yeah.
think,
Oh, we're on the sidewalk. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I
So we'll
think
just.
Slim would mention that these four have, headed this direction and would express concern about being followed.
Hmm.
Well, we can head back to the hotel, but what if we're being followed?
Yeah, Walter doesn't have much to input on this. He's hurting too much. So he's just like, please get me back so I can put ice on my head.
Groaning and holding his head.
I think we have to take that chance. Let's hail a cab.
Okay.
All right. And I guess we'll hail a cab and head back to the hotel.
All right.
I'll be on the lookout to see if anybody's following us. I've got that observation talent that I can deploy.
What is that again? Help me out.
That is constantly watching.
Okay.
Whenever you attempt a skill test to detect danger or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 0.
Oh, perfect. So you've got a choice in that instance. Um, you can automatically, succeed. No die roll, no nothing. Or if you want to make a roll and hopefully gain momentum and risk a complication, you can do that as well.
Well, you would have to tell me. My instinct says that the act is almost over, or is that not the case?
Yeah, I would say that's a true statement.
All right, so I'll just take the win.
Take the auto.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Um, so yeah, there does not seem to be anybody that's paying any particular attention to you.
Very good. So far, so good.
All right, very good.
All right. Well, when we meet up in the hotel, Slim makes a beeline for the shower.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. So mechanically speaking, you guys do have two momentum. So this is one of these mechanics times. You've got three fatigue. Is that correct, Walter?
I have, yes, 3 fatigue.
All right. So reducing fatigue uh, requires the ability to sleep for one. If you can't rest, you can't do it. Okay.
Right.
And it requires a roll of brawn or will, whichever's better for you, with
Hmm.
resilience.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got will of 9 and resilience of 1.
Okay, so go ahead and
Yeah.
make a resilience roll.
All right.
Um,
So 2 dice and relevant
uh,
resilience.
yeah, resilience. I don't know if there's a
I don't have a focus in it.
no, so it doesn't matter. All right, that's fine. Difficulty is 1,
Uh-huh.
and 2 dice, of course.
Hmm.
Um, so see what you get. All right, so you had one success. So one success combined with the night of sleep drops your fatigue by 1.
All
Okay.
right.
Now, the other thing is because you were successful in that roll, you can reduce additional fatigue by 1 per momentum. And you just happen to have 2 momentum in the bank, which I'm letting you guys hold on to as the scene ends.
Right. And is it a use it or lose it on
Yeah, it
momentum
is.
at the end of the scene? So, and unless anybody else has an idea for that, that'd be great. Anyone? Nobody object?
No.
No, we're not going to do anything else that requires it before the scene ends. No, I'm not certainly not remote viewing. So, yeah. All right, I'll take the 2 then and reduce it to 0.
All right, very good. So yeah, your fatigue goes down to 0. Now your stress is still at 5, but that's going to go away naturally. So you and Slim both, if you guys have any stress, you can uncheck those. You can take those boxes out. You're fine. You're going to be fine, one way or the other. So,
Do I reduce them now or do I
yeah,
still
go
wait?
ahead. That's fine
Okay. Okay.
because we're not really in a situation where anything's going to happen. I think because you guys are back at the hotel.
Hmm.
Um,
All right.
so there's obviously, to cut through it a little bit as players, everybody heard everything that happened. So you guys do
Hmm.
an information swap so everybody's up to speed on everything that was discovered.
Yes,
All
I
right.
filled them in on everything. Hmm.
Yeah. And of
And
course
we gave
Henry
them
still.
every single detail of the pieces of brain flying through the air when
Yeah,
Slim blew the
nice.
guy's head apart.
um,
Awesome.
all right. So what's the plan, gentlemen?
Well, let's see. We've got lead on the note writer, and her name is what was it, Lizette or something
Liesel Maurer. Yeah.
Maurer? Yeah, uh-huh. And we don't really know the source of the note, or at least the geographic location, right? It's
Right.
we just know that it was
Looked
looked
like
like
a
a
castle inside of a
stone
castle.
castle,
Yeah.
like one of the great room. And we have what else did we see? I'm sorry, my brain fog is still present. I did notice that there were other correspondence on the table.
Yeah, and a number of them from General Oberst Wolf,
Right.
Wolff.
Okay. Um, so I do have an academia contact. I don't know if that's something you may want to try to exploit to get better idea of these leads we have. I don't know if that's the right place to.
You could, you certainly, you certainly could do that. Now by doing that, we're doing is we're creating a truth. We're setting in stone who that academia contact is, and how you get in touch with them.
Right.
But we can do something like that. Absolutely.
You guys have any other ideas? Do anybody else have contacts, like maybe government or whatever, that might be able to help us zero in on these leads? Anyone?
Checking.
I don't. I don't think there's a prayer.
Yeah, I've already used my contact, I think.
Yeah, you turned it into Herr Seidler at the reading
Herr
club,
Seidler, yeah.
which was a cool use of the contact. I liked that.
Yeah, that was good. So, I mean, barring anybody having that ability or contact, I guess, do we create an academic contact that resides in Vienna that would be keyed into uh oh, I don't know, somebody who is a political scientist and could would have knowledge of this general and perhaps LM. I mean, I don't know if that's a stretch.
Well,
That might be a stretch, right?
maybe if it's going to be an academic contact, I think showing them the paw symbol with the gear and the eye
Sure, we can
would
ask them
be
all that. Yeah.
the first step because they might
Hmm.
say, "Oh, I know all about this group." They might
Hmm.
not know the people.
Well, you guys
Right.
already know the group that it belongs
Yeah.
to.
Oh, I know that, but what I'm trying to do is create a lead to try and figure out, okay, where do these guys hang out? We're trying to figure out where she is, right?
I got you.
The other thing we've still haven't done is we still haven't gotten our hands on Fuchs and slapped him around and gotten the information out of him. He keeps getting away, but I don't know how to get him now. That obviously it would have been nice if we could have followed him. Maybe he ran blubbering like a baby back to Liesel, but
Maybe.
but we couldn't find him. we would never find him because he was long gone by the time we were finished with our business.
With our business.
Anybody
So
else have a better idea? I mean, like, we can't get to Fuchs, right? We don't know where he's at. He's probably hiding, or not hiding, but somewhere safe. I guess we just create the contact, right?
I guess because we can't go to, say, police or anyone like that because they're completely, the police are completely Nazified by this time.
Well,
Do we have a handler? Does our
You
team have a handler?
you do have a handler. Uh, your section D handler is doo- 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 doo. My apologies. I should have. It's something that's come up so rarely that I believe his name is Captain Strang. Strang.
Do we
Oh,
have an SOP for how to get in touch with our handler? Because maybe they could give us information on the over commander.
I'm sure you absolutely do. You may not be able to get an answer. Obviously, you're not going to get an answer. It's not like just picking up a phone and calling him.
Right,
It
right.
might be something that takes a couple days, but absolutely.
yeah, going along with that, thanks for bringing that up. The handler. Do we have any reporting requirements? Because we do have quite a bit of info now that we might want to get back to whomever we're
Well,
supposed to report in.
your mission was to meet
Test
Gisela
test 1 2.
Waldron.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got you now.
cool. Thank you.
Oh, no
Sure.
problem. Your mission was to meet Gisela Waldron and find out why she had reached out to Section D and what she wanted, and that was about the limit of it. You weren't really given much instruction beyond that. Obviously, as this thing has developed, excuse me,
Yeah,
sorry, you found yourself in the middle of something probably no one would have expected.
but
right.
tech,
So we
but
we really
technically, I'm sorry. Technically,
mm,
by the letter of the mission, we fulfilled the mission.
That's true.
We know
right,
what she wanted us for.
right. So that's where the reporting requirement would come in, and then they can give us direction on what we're doing next. So yeah, let's I think we should initiate that before we do anything else to get, I don't know whether we do dead drops or if we
I
how we contact
I
them
think
or
since we had created a truth that the hotel was basically a safe
safe house.
house, I would
uh,
say that your method of contact's probably through the hotel.
through the hotel.
That would
Okay,
make the
yeah.
most sense to me,
Okay. Yeah,
and it
so
keeps it easy.
whatever the protocol is for that, let's do that first, and then we can see how we can develop the rest of this because I
Can you?
mean, I go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask for a little refresher on the artifact that was stolen that has ties to first century battle or something like that. What was that? Something was stolen, and there was this.
No,
What was?
there was definitely the conclusion you came to is that there was something stolen from the upstairs museum at the Sphinx Reading Club, because the skylight was broken, and then one of the curio cabinets had been clearly broken into on some level, and then it was empty. So that's kind of the conclusion you came to there. The other thing you're referring to came from his remote viewing. It was in the room that LM was writing the message that he did the remote viewing on. There was a coat of arms or a crest on the wall that he seemed to remember had doesn't know details, but seems to remember it has something to do with a Germanic king that fought the Romans back in the very beginnings of the first century.
So the crest is of the Germanic chieftain or whatever. It's a Germanic symbol.
Correct.
Okay, and the artifact that was stolen. What 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 was the tie to the first century battle? Do we know?
There
I
wasn't
don't
one. No, two separate things.
Yeah, and then the only other thing about that cabinet was they had uh body prep like body modification devices for the lip on the top part of the cabinet from Africa, which I mean, it looked like right. I mean, could I assume that things in that place were organized by region, or is that
To
how?
to an extent, but they were also organized by who donated them as well. So
Oh,
it wasn't a strict organization, if that makes sense.
okay. So I mean, whatever the association is, there may not be one, but whatever was stolen was in close proximity to those lip plates. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, though. Yeah, so that's kind of it for the coat of arms. Was in the castle that I saw. Tall brunette with short hair, in a military type uniform with the paw print,
Yeah,
the
the
name,
Nachtwolfe symbol.
Nachtwolf symbol, right? And then you have uh, is the general's last name Wolf? Is that right?
That yes, correct.
Yeah.
WOLFF.
Yeah, Nazis love to be on the nose with this shit. So yeah, General Wolf of the Wolf, the Nachtwolf. Yeah, okay. Edgelord there. Um, let's see. Yeah, so I think report up through that'd be my vote is to report all this information up first, and then I guess I mean, contacting an academic so that we get more clarity on what all the symbology and these people mean, probably wouldn't conflict with anything that HQ would tell us to do, right? Right? Because I don't know how this game is structured, if there's really field agents like crawling all over Vienna or not, but the one thing you don't want to do is like start knocking into other spies and think each other's are the enemy. But so I think we got to do that first. Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, it's no big deal. So is that the idea then to use your academia contact to create a truth, a contact of someone here in Vienna that you can go to
Yeah,
try to talk about this stuff?
yeah, somebody that, yeah, yeah. And if they, I mean, I guess whatever makes sense. If this person I knew from school, or if they have similar interest in the occult, that's probably the most logical thing, right?
Yeah,
Does Jim have agency in deciding who it is?
yeah, more or less. I mean,
Because I was
I
going to
can.
suggest maybe if he makes it our handler, it's a recurring contact.
The academic is our handler.
Well,
Interesting.
I
Well,
don't
he's
know.
in England,
Oh, the handler's in England. Okay.
correct?
I was trying to suggest. I don't know. It's just a errant
No, no,
idea. Because
that
like my
could make
guy
sense.
is like frozen in Vienna, right?
True.
Like my contact's in Vienna forever now.
Yeah, unless by some chance he happens to be somewhere else.
Yeah,
But
like let's say he flees the war and goes to London, but he's
yeah,
like in one place. If your contact was tied to somebody who has to follow us around, like our like a
Right, I see what you're
I
saying.
don't know, then if we play another mission in Cairo, your
Yeah,
contact will still be perhaps has a chance of logically being involved with
yeah,
us, whereas
yeah.
mine will still be here in Vienna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be convenient, but no,
Well,
yeah.
well, at any rate, if we try and go the handler route, then we're going to be several days before a response. The other thing is,
Well, that's not necessarily true, right? I mean, if he's
well,
creating a contact, he could say that there's like a
oh no, no,
field.
no, no, no. If he's creating a contact, that's different. I'm talking about our handler who's in England, Strang or whoever his name was.
yep,
So we're
Captain
not
Yeah.
going to
Strang.
use Captain. We're not going to use him, right? He's just too slow to get back to us.
Yeah, I think
Well, we
Jim's
still might
idea
want it
was
just
just
for
to.
role playing.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
send a note
You,
just for role playing so that we've touched base in case we get killed this afternoon. Uh, they
Yeah,
know
right. I
what
mean,
we've discovered.
Well,
yeah,
speaking of
yeah.
that, is aren't
That's what the report is for the
speaking of
handler.
that,
But
isn't it late afternoon?
yeah, I would say it's very late afternoon, probably
Because we
after
got we got to meet with
5 p.m.
we got to meet with Gisela tomorrow morning, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, right. We got that appointment still. So in agreement, we'll find my academic contact is we'll say is in Vienna, and but I mean it's a huge university town, so
It
that's
is.
logical.
It very is. That's true.
How are we
Um,
creating this truth?
it's I get an academic contact as one of my
Oh, cool.
I have a medicine contact and an academic contact. So I can
Neat.
just I can decide who this person is, and it's going to be a colleague from school that also has interest in the cult and current events.
And there's, as a side note, while we're creating that truth as this person's here in Vienna, and while it does kind of lock them in place, there's going to be opportunities, to move them around. And what I mean by that is, you guys have momentum spends outside of combat. You can spend two momentum to establish a truth at some point, or remove a negative truth. But the point is, if you're in another city someplace else and you're stuck and you're going to magically make it that your contact just happens to be in town, that's what momentum to create a truth is for.
Oh,
Or he
So
okay.
took a position in a local
yeah,
university and
you
left
have a
Vienna.
way to get to him quickly,
Okay.
is the
Right.
point. Yeah, so that's part of what that mechanic is for too. So all right, so yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and fill that in on your academia contact. um, and make a. I guess you guys have to decide when you want to contact that individual.
Okay.
I think like Slim comes out of the bathroom. I'm gonna excuse my mic issues as maybe he was like in the shower, right? And steam comes rolling out, and he comes out in a towel, and he's making a lot of noise while you
Oh
guys are
my.
are playing and stuff. And he's like, he gets down on his knees on the floor, and he's like rifling under the bed, and he's making a lot of noise and like moving the bed and stuff. And then his head pops up, and he's all covered in scratches, and and he sort of like gets up with a grunt, and he's like, "Any all gentlemen have a extra pea shooter on hand? That boy was on me like a duck on a June bug. I uh, I dropped mine."
Like a duck on a June bug.
Nothing? No extra guns? Can we? And he his shoulders drop, and he's like, "Well, yeah, when we talk to this handler fella, can we requisition something?"
Well,
You could make an attempt to repair it.
oh,
Oh,
how do you
okay.
do that?
Interesting.
It would be reason engineering
Actually, I think I do have engineering.
with probably a mechanical engineering focus.
I have a mechanical engineering focus.
Look at that.
I'm not very good with reason, though.
Everybody check your butts. See if you have a welder in there that we could use to fix the
All
slide.
right, let's see here. It is.
Just put some spit on it and some chewing gum.
That's right.
What difficulty
Duct tape's
would we
just
do?
now coming into use militarily speaking. So, um, considering the lack of tools, we're going to call it a two difficulty.
Two difficulty. All right. Let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Oh boy.
Ooh, no, she's broken beyond repair.
All right. So he's got her like all spread out on the bed, and he's like, "Well, shit. This is useless. I can't do anything with this. Well, it just so happens I came prepared." And he disappears behind the bed and like pulls out a duffel bag.
Put it away, Slim.
Oh, come on.
Put that thing away. No one wants to see it.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, and get rid of that bazooka too. The
What, you been in my bag?
the here for now. Take my service pistol. You should take better care of your toys.
Is this like a little like 38 or something stealthy?
It let me look. Let me pull up my equipment, take a look at it.
I just get the image of like Men in Black where he gets the tiny cricket or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to need to know these for your sheet.
hmm
It's a service revolver.
Okay.
Type is ranged.
hmm
Focus is handguns.
Okay.
Stress is 4.
Okay.
I'll give you the ammo. I've got an ammo belt with 2 reloads left.
Okay.
The salvo effects are vicious.
Okay.
Range is close.
Okay.
Size is minor.
Okay.
Qualities close quarters.
Okay.
And reliable.
Okay.
And I
So,
want it back in the same condition.
Well, shucks,
I gave it to you.
Mr. Baker, that was just a fluke. He came at me. He had a machete or something. That's never happened before, sir.
I was there. I saw.
Well, you saw that man was like 6'4", and he like takes this service revolver. He's like, all right, I'll take good care of her.
I didn't seem to have too much trouble with mine.
Slim's a
there's no
shorter
need
guy,
to-
isn't he?
I guess I never really thought about that, but sure, yeah. And he says, well, Mr. Baker, there's no reason to get personal. And
No criticism, just an observation.
well, she have a name? And then he tucks the revolver in the waistband of his
Henry
towel.
just gives him a strange look.
All right. And he tucks the revolver in the waistband of his towel, and you see him like meander and disappear into the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Is he going to shower with it?
God knows.
Those Texans are a strange group.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Let's
Um,
plan here.
Well, we have to.
Walter's the one who has to do the contact thing, right?
Right. But it's afternoon. We have to meet Gazelle in the morning. So, with this contact, I can reach out to him. I even by telephone, I suppose, and find out if he's still at his office at the university, or if I can swing by his home and we can meet.
Yeah, that would work if you want to do that. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Um,
So I'm assuming that
which
there's
university
no
does he
phone.
work at? Do we know?
Vienna,
Okay.
University of Vienna, Department of Anthropology, Professor Gerhard Weber.
Wow. Okay, great.
He's a current professor of anthropology at University of Vienna. So
Good old Dr. Weber. Oh, is he? Okay.
I got lazy.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Shout out, Doc.
Yeah, so this is his great grandson, I guess, who had the same job. Um, so yeah, I assume there's no phone in the room.
Yeah, I would
So-
imagine that there would not be a telephone in the
Right.
rooms at this point in history.
So I can go down to the front desk, and since it's a safe house, ask to use like an office where nobody can overhear what we're
Can I use the
talking
big
about.
phone, please?
Yeah, the big phone,
Um,
and I'll ring his office number and see what happens.
yeah, the an impatient voice just answers yes. It's him. You
And
recognize his voice.
it's I recognize it's him. It's
Yeah.
like Herr Weber. This is Walter Pilecki. We haven't spoken in a bit.
Uh, he says, oh, his demeanor changes kind of quickly. He goes, oh, Herr Pilecki, how are you doing? It's been some time.
Well, I happen to actually be in the area, and I was hoping that maybe we could get together and catch up.
We could certainly do that. What did you have in mind? Do you have plans this evening?
I do not.
I'll be leaving the office here shortly. I got held up a little bit, and then I will. And then yeah, we can meet. He suggests a restaurant, I suppose.
Okay.
He says
And
if that's what you're thinking, or something more private.
I think maybe more private and discreet would be in order.
Discreet, interesting. That's fine. Come by my place. He gives you the address, tells you how to find it.
Beautiful.
Come by my home, I
Okay.
guess he would say. My place is a
Yeah,
little more modern.
right. Thank you very much for the invitation. I look forward to seeing you.
Very good. We'll see you this evening. Thank you so much.
Hmm. All right. So, I assume I know like what his favorite beverage is, so we'll
Yeah.
pick up a bottle of that on the way there. But the group, as far as the group goes, I don't know. We want how do we want to do this, guys? I don't think bringing strangers into his home is a good idea, but we can certainly have you know this co-location instead of splitting the party. That's up to you.
I
We
don't
could get
think we should split up. I think we should go, but that doesn't mean all of us have to, you know, come into his home. We can hang back on the street in various places around the place to keep an eye on things while you do your thing.
any knowledge of the area where he lives. Is it residential or is it
Yeah.
off the?
Yeah. It's not far from it's not far from the university.
Uh-huh.
Probably just a few blocks in an area that's university. It's university housing for professors and that type of thing.
But not really a place where people can loiter without
Yeah, not
attracting
really.
attention.
It's more neighborhood than it is campus, if that makes sense.
We could get a
Well,
car and park outside.
yeah.
I knew the car was coming.
uh, is there like a coffee shop near there, like down the street, like on the edge of campus, or is
Yeah,
there
sure.
someplace just like within walking distance that they maybe can camp and we'll we can I'll have my meeting and all right, does it sound okay to you guys? Is that close enough, you think? I don't suspect anything weird is going to happen here.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I think this is a good move.
I mean, unless getting spotted, that's our um, worst thing that can happen to us. But okay, so I don't know what time he wanted to meet. I'm assuming dinner time ish, something like that.
Yeah.
And so we can make our way there. Are we? How are we doing on time?
Oh, it's right at noon my time. So call it another 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, I got an appointment at noon.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to pause here? Maybe I need to check on my wife. She's still struggling with the flu and all that. I don't know
Yeah, we can take
if
a
this is a
couple minutes
logical.
if you need to pause. Sure, absolutely.
Well, what I was asking is, do we want to stop here before we get into? I don't know. Is 20 minutes enough? You think
I
for
don't
this
think this
encounter?
scene's going to take very long.
Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
just do it then. Okay. All right. So I go pick up his favorite beverage. We go to the coffee shop that's near the university there, cafe. I split off from there, walk down to his apartment or home,
Yep.
and rap on the door.
All right. Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those kind of split level townhouses where there's two doors, one that goes to an upper level and then the other
Mhm.
that is down below. He lives on the lower level. You knock on the door, he opens it up. What does he look like? What does Dr. Weber look like?
He looks he is a bit older than me, so he's probably in his 40s. and he has long, prematurely graying hair, um, kind of in the style of Ludwig, and no facial hair or anything, but round spectacles. Um, Uses a cane
Is he
from when
is he
he.
Austrian or German?
That's a good question. I'll say he's Austrian.
Okay, good enough. I'm just
Yeah,
curious. I'm just being a pain in the
yeah.
ass more than anything.
No, no, no. That those are important questions. Important questions.
um,
So,
he,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, he greets you warmly, ushers you inside, thanks you for coming. He's got a bit of an academic nervousness about him,
Hmm.
and and he welcomes you to his dining area, and he disappears into the kitchen, which is an open doorway, as he probably tries to pull some things together. Uh, Comes back in with something for you guys to eat, some wine glasses maybe for the alcohol you brought, and he says, "So, Mr. Pilecki, what has you in Vienna, especially at this particular climate that in this particular climate that requires you to speak with me in a private fashion?"
Okay, so I'm going to do this non-role playing because my brain fog is too bad.
That's fine. I mean,
But I apologize for that. I would love to be able to rattle this off, but I'll explain to him I assume we probably haven't seen each other for a year or two, and I will, if it's okay with you, he will already have knowledge of me leaving the university system to go take a job that was offered by some government.
okay.
And I never like explained that to him before, but he knew that that was kind of the general scenario. So I fill him in because I do trust him. I fill him in, maybe not with all the details, but I fill him in on where I have been in the last couple of years, which was traveling to London for university studies, but then being recognized that I had um, a penchant for the occult and for maybe even have some skill of my own. And so I was sent to the United States and I worked with a group. I don't mention the name, but upon returning after less than a year, I found myself in the thick of it.
Mm,
And as we can see this continent descending into darkness, I had to make a decision of do I stay on the outside as just an observer, or do I join like the rest of my family is doing um, to prevent this darkness rolling across the land? And I chose the latter, and that is why I'm in Vienna.
mm.
So then I pause just to gauge how he takes this in, whether he's disturbed by that or if he's.
No, he kind of just takes it all in stride. Um, he says, "So, back to my original question, what can I assist you with?"
Well, through our through our assignment in this town, we have stumbled across a number of troubling indicators um, that I don't fully understand, but I think that you might have knowledge of, and it has to do with the current political and military climate coming out of Germany.
Hmm.
Um, I described the patch, the Wolfnacht patch, um,
Noctwolf, yeah.
Nachtwolf, yeah,
He he nods as you talk about that. All right.
okay. I described that we had made contact with a woman who has a forget, is it a colleague or her husband or
It was her fiance. Are you talking about
her fiance?
Gisela Waltern? Yeah, it was her
That's
fiance.
right. Yeah. So I described that scenario and the disappearance or death of. And I don't have detailed notes of all this, but I'm going to try to relate to them as much information I can without compromising the other guys. Is basically what I want to do.
All right.
Um, Emphasizing the information from the note, the general's name, LM's name, and the kind of lore that we.
He gets very quiet when you reach mentioning Nachtwolf. I mean, there's definitely a reaction there, but when you take it as far as mentioning uh, the uh, the General Wolf as well as Liesel Maurer,
Mhm.
he gets very quiet and he looks at you and says, "Walter, as hold on one sec. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. Walter, as a colleague and let us just say as a friend, I'm going to make a very strong recommendation to you. I'm going to suggest that whatever this is, you forget all about it, pack up, and leave, and don't ever look back."
I I appreciate very much your concern for my safety, but I have to say that unfortunately I am already too deep in this to be able to leave. Is there anything that you can tell me about what I've told you that could help me remain safe and inform me of what needs to be done to counter this menace?
To remain safe, absolutely not.
Okay.
General Wolf is General Mina Wolf. General Mina Wolf is the supreme commander of Nachtwolf. She is an extremely dangerous Nazi, answers to the Fuhrer himself, and she is directly responsible for helping the Reich develop weapons. Her focus is in ancient science and engineering. The other individual, uh, Liesel Maurer, is one of her direct lieutenants and is in charge of something called Project Atlantis. She was sniffing, well, she wasn't, but agents of Nachtwolf have been sniffing around the universities here in Vienna and really all over Europe. But if you ask me, it's nonsense. Atlantis doesn't exist, but that's what she's in charge of. These are very powerful and dangerous individuals, and they will eliminate anyone who gets in their way. And if I can be quite frank about it, I really don't want to know anymore.
Okay. I respect that. Do you have any information on where these people are located?
Well, they're certainly not in Vienna.
Hmm.
Uh, I, I I couldn't begin to know where Mina Wolf is, and even if I did, I don't think I would want to tell you because. But Liesel Maurer, her family owns a castle. It's it's somewhere in southeastern Germany. I don't know many details, but um, she she seems to believe that her ancestors were great Germanic kings, and she claims to be a direct descendant of one who defeated Rome in 9 A.D. Uh, I think
It is the Battle of Teutoburg Forest.
someone was doing
Brilliant.
some internet research while we've been talking.
That's a very famous battle. I don't know who the Germanic commander was, but the Battle of Teutoburg is quite famous. When you said
Um,
I
9 AD, that's right, right?
yeah, yeah, that's exactly
yeah,
correct.
I interject and describe the crest I saw that was on the wall, and ask him if that's
That's that.
her family crest.
Yeah, that's it. I seem to think that her ancestral Schlaus is in a is or near a town named Detmold, I believe.
Hmm. um, I understand that this is upsetting that I came with you with this information, and I agree it's dangerous, and I don't want to put you in any more danger. Can I ask you a few more questions without?
I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay. So I describe and talk about Gazelle and her fiance, and if he knows anything about them.
He does not.
Okay. I ask him, what's the deal with all the mountaineers in August walking around the streets?
He laughs. He says, "Those are Austrians, like myself. The wearing of the alpine outfits is their way of protesting the Nazi occupation.
Ah, okay.
They're I would call them brave men, except I'm not sure that the Nazis know or care about their protest and what exactly it means. Um, but yeah, that's what that's about.
Okay. Um, has the German government started meddling in your department?
Not yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Hmm.
They're heavily involved in several related departments, so it's coming soon.
Okay. Okay. Anything you know that your university is doing in the mountains around here as far as research?
Not in the mountains, no, no. Or yeah, there have been agents from an Enerbe that's been poking around, and now you're telling me that there's probably Nachtwolf in town, and that's very concerning to me.
Hmm. Have you do you know that the police are compromised?
I'm sure they're compromised.
Okay. Um, do you know of any, and this is a dangerous question, you don't have to answer it, but do you know of anyone who you could direct me to that's part of the resistance?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've done my best to just put my head down and do my job.
Ah, understood. Yeah, that is a smart thing to do. Okay, so I will, share niceties with him for a bit. But I also want to implore him that should he get into trouble or somebody come after him, to please try to get a hold of me.
All right.
And I'll just tell him that he could get a message to me through. Uh, I'll just say it's a mutual friend that's in London. If he were to call him, that person may be able to get a hold of me.
All right.
I think that's it. I don't want to press him too much.
Okay. All right. Very good. So yeah, you guys at that point probably share a little bit of catching up and just some basic stuff before he nervously ushers you out.
Hmm.
Your statements about Noctwolf and the names you drop probably really bother him. Well, don't
Hmm.
probably bother him. They definitely bothered him.
Yeah.
So, um, which I guess puts you in the position of returning back to the group and filling them in on everything.
Yep.
All right. Um, well, it. I guess in our last closing minutes here, next 10 minutes or so, if you guys have any additional discussions or plans you want to make for next time.
Well,
What do you
next
think?
time we're going to be doing the meeting tomorrow. Is that what?
Yeah, first thing in
Okay.
the morning,
Yep.
meeting her to market.
Gotcha.
We'll discuss it over breakfast.
How far away is the meeting from our safe house?
It wasn't far. It was on the, if I remember correctly, it was on the north side of the Ringstrasse, or maybe just on the other side of it. So it
So,
wasn't far.
all right, we don't need to boost a car in the middle of the night, Slim, to have something for the morning.
Are you asking or?
I don't know. I don't know. It's
All right,
I
I'll
don't
keep that
know.
in mind.
Yeah, we can. I suppose we could discuss that in the next session, but they seem to come in handy when we need them.
I've been itching.
I can't wait till you get to seal a half track.
Or a tank.
Yeah.
There are tanks, and there are stats for tanks.
Oh God.
Well, he can
Tiger.
drive them.
Yeah, I can. I can drive them.
There's,
Yeah.
there's also stats for things that were once tanks.
Ooh.
Oh, that is.
Oh God.
Interesting.
You know that Steve Jackson made
What
a
does that mean?
Cthulhu ogre, right?
Say that
I
again?
don't know if you,
Cthulhu
you know
what?
Steve. You know the Steve Jackson games,
Yeah.
the ogre from back in the '70s. He made a Cthulhu ogre,
Oh,
where it's ogre tanks that are converted into eldritch monstrosities. So
They basically are Cthulhuid, like horrible giant evil things.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
mechanical
Yeah.
in terms of effect. They might as well be Cthulhu.
Yeah. All right. That's my input for the closing here. Anybody else?
Awesome. No, it's probably a good place to wrap it. Now we're not meeting next week, correct?
correct. Because it's the last day of my month at work, so
Okay.
so our next game will be on the 7th.
Got it.
Okay.
Good.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Roger.
That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
for running.
guys.
Very much.
You bet. We'll
Okay.
see you next time.
All
See you
right.
guys
Later.
later.
Later.